Deezone Productions had the opportunity to showcase the award-winning 48-hour film project entitled Deezone At New Orleans together with other filmmakers from all over the world. Stay with us as we take a look at how this company of youthful individuals embark on a journey to make history and leave their mark in the film industry in America. Mr. Marantlineng, as a filmmaker from Africa, all the way from Botswana actually, what would you say is the future of filmmaking in Africa in terms of making it internationally?
Well, I think, you know what, Africa has, it's a market that has not been touched or really been really concentrated on, like in terms of, there are not a lot of stories that have been told in Africa. I mean, especially good stories. I remember only African stories being told to Hollywood or to the rest of the world. It's like Hotel Rwanda, you know, like sad stories, man. But I think us as filmmakers from Africa, we stand a very good chance to come and exhibit our films. Like right now we're here in New Orleans and we are exhibiting one of our superheroes original stories that we did in Botswana, from the guy who goes around with a donkey and saving people's lives. I mean, unlike your Supermans or Spider-Mans, but I think there's a lot that we can tell from Africa. So I think being here, we stand a chance from us. It's our responsibility as African filmmakers to really tell good stories and positive stories that the whole rest of the world can say, you know what, wow, Africa is different. Africa, it's also positive. So I think it's upon us. I think also it's about resources. Like I know Africa, we don't really work on big budget films, but I think if you have a good stories to tell, and even with the minimal budget, I think we can tell our stories, man. I don't think we really need a lot of money like blockbuster films to tell good stories. We have a lot of stories. I mean, films is about good story, you know.
Mr. Marantlineng continued to explain that the most challenging thing about starting a film company was that a lot of Botswana did not have confidence in young filmmakers. They did not believe that they could produce good quality work. But nonetheless, Deezone continued to grow in leaps and bounds until today. Can you tell us about the participation of African filmmakers in this project, and how can they, what can they do in order to penetrate the international market?
Well, 5 years ago we had 0 cities in Africa who were competing in the 48-hour film project, and now we've grown to 6 cities already. So we're already seeing a growth in participation, and the quality of the films keeps getting better and better. Our main motto and word of advice to all potential filmmakers is get out there and make your film.
Well, I would just like to say that it is so important, as Mark said, for people to get out there, keep making films, practice makes perfect, and keep telling those stories that come from Africa, because those are very important stories to be heard worldwide.
Would you like to tell us about the experience of having to screen your film here in New Orleans?
Being in New Orleans from South Africa, Devon, means a lot, because we get a lot of experience in terms of film, like shooting, editing, and seeing our film on big screen. That means we're going somewhere. Even today we didn't win any particular award, but we know how to do a good film, how to compare with other international filmmakers around the world. So next year or this year, we're gonna be doing big, like more than before.
Okay, now, would you like to tell us about the importance of African filmmakers coming out and telling African stories, and the government and private stakeholders just financing these filmmakers?
Well, I think I've seen American movies. I mean, many of us have seen American movies with American flags. So, like, when you're thinking of films, we're thinking about America. They've done well, America. They've unearthed their stories, they've told them. I mean, it's time for us as Africans to do that. We've got, Africa is rich with stories, untold. And those stories end up being told by Americans.
Hey, you might want to let the lady go.
The Film Palooza, as it was called, was a platform where all the filmmakers met to view all the cinematic storytelling from across the world. Even though the Deezone film did not win the overall prize, they brought back a trophy of appreciation with them home. It was Botswana's first time to participate in such a challenge, and Deezone did put Botswana on the map.
Now, you guys went to one of the biggest events in the world. You guys didn't come back empty-handed. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is, man. Like, we are a 9 award-winning film here in Botswana, and we're actually honored for being the best in Botswana. So that's why we got this award.
Okay, Albert, going to you, what was your experience like?
In terms of film and what we learned, first of all, I can start with the seminars. I mean, we had people teaching us about color correction. We had people teaching us about how to get money or how to look for sponsorship. You know, they gave us tips on that. They gave us tips on editing and all other things. But the biggest experience was seeing all those other films, because I promise you, Deezone and an extension Botswana's film will never be the same.
It was amazing that most of those guys who were like the filmmakers, they were young, our age. It was nice to mingle with them, learn how they do their stuff. Like, it was so amazing that even something that you think it's just, you can just do it the last 5 minutes, like color correcting, they can do it in days, weeks.
So Deezone, your words to Africa out there?
Well, my words to Africa is let's have our African dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's continue to work hard towards our goal to see a brighter Africa.